Well, for the first time ever on Allcraft, we actually have a good Dark Knight. Very excited for this one. We have a lot of stuff to talk about today, and we've been looking forward to this episode for a while. And also, everybody was hitting us up asking to actually make this episode a thing. So, Xeno, thank you a lot for jumping on such quick notice.
Hey, thanks a lot for inviting me, man.
So we've been seeing a lot of your videos, and you've been very, very outspoken over the years of playing Final Fantasy, with videos of how not to suck, of this and that thing, and everything like that. So for people who don't know, where are you kind of coming from in the Final Fantasy community, and what kind of stuff do you do?
Man, I've played this game since since like a little bit of 1.0, which we don't talk about 1.0. But yeah, so we'll just say I started in like 2.0. But man, I played this game for a long time, and the game's changed a lot, like a lot over the years, man. And I started making videos like I want to say in like 2.2 or something. And so this was back when fucking tank accessories didn't even have strength on it, man. They just had vit.
So that was a long, long time ago.
Yeah, it was like the dark ages, man.
And so how do you feel like the game is now? Like, obviously, if you played it for so long, do you feel like it's in a much better state than it was then? Or how do you feel like in general, like going into Endwalker now?
So over the years, they've made the game a lot easier to play.
Yeah.
But that's better for the game as a whole, right? Because so for me personally, I kind of liked like my favorite expansion job wise was like Heaven's Ward, because the jobs were a lot more intricate, and it was like high skill, high risk, high reward. But now everything it's easier, but I still think it's fun. I do still think it's fun, but I can see why people wouldn't like the direction that they're going. But I'm kind of on both sides, right? Because I do a lot of party finder stuff, and I also do a lot of like more like stuff that like the general player base does, as opposed like in terms of like a party finder. And but I also do like really hardcore rating, and I do like static stuff too, so I can kind of see it from like both sides. So I can see why people would not like the direction the game is going, but for the game as a whole, I think it's the best, because the jobs are more accessible to more people. And it's like the jobs are like different enough, but also really easy to use too. So I think it's a good direction, like for the game. But I personally would want, like, dude, Heaven's Ward was so different, man. Oh my god,
More
you could
like
drop Dark Side in Heaven's Ward, man.
Yeah, more like little intricate mechanics and things like that you have to know about. Yeah, I'm sure. I get that. I think a lot of people feel that same way about like Mists of Pandaria and WoW, like for sure.
Yeah, it does feel like, coming from WoW, that the jobs are still like much more intricate still, and they do feel more varied. But the trend of always going towards something that's a little bit more, you've said accessible, some people in chat said dumbed down, seems to be a thing that we've seen across the MMORPGs. I do kind of want to take a small detour though. It's pretty much in the same vein, but just when you talk about how the game really has progressed, and what I'm looking at the game with how I've been playing it, I am very curious what you've seen as far as like the electronic role play routes. Like, has it gotten better, or do you think that it's on a decline, or do you think that it has gotten better over time? Like, do I have something to look forward to in the next expansion?
I think, I mean, I'm really excited about the next expansion. I'm like most excited though about like the job changes, really. Like, I played the game for so long, man, that so like this game has a very, very like there's like a pattern of how they release content. It's the same, like every expansion, it's the same, like every patch. Like, so when Endwalker comes out, man, it's gonna be the expansion, and then like 4 weeks later gonna be normal mode, then 4 weeks later, like 2 weeks later gonna be normal mode, then 2 weeks later after that's gonna be Savage. And it happens every single expansion. And so, like, as far as like, oh man, what are they going to do this time? Like, they're going to do the same thing this time. So the biggest thing for me is, how are they going to change the jobs? That's like the biggest thing for me at this point. Like, if you were to ask me, like, maybe like, I don't know, like maybe 4 years ago or 2 years ago, even, like, oh man, what do you think there's going to be in the expansion? I would be, I'd be a lot more hopeful for shit, right? But because they're very they do the same shit like every expansion. Now you can just like plan like way ahead for it. So I mean, I do think it's going to be good. I do think it's going to be good. I think this is probably going to be the best expansion ever, actually. Like as far as like the amount of people playing, because right now, Final Fantasy is in a content drought, but the amount of people playing is like in an all-time high, which is fucking insane, dude.
Did you ever play WoW?
Man, I did for a little bit. But all I did was, I mean, I job boosted because fuck leveling. I ain't doing that shit, man. Sorry. But I job boosted and then I did a bunch of Mythic Plus, but that was it. Like I didn't even do I think they're called like heroic raids or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a friend who also boosted. I don't know where he is now, but the thing is that's different about WoW and Final Fantasy. If somebody was like, "Hey, I want to start playing WoW right now," first I would call them a doctor, but secondly, I would tell them to boost. Like you are actually supposed to boost in WoW, and that's one of the things that's so weird. Not supposed to, but I don't think that there's anything wrong with boosting. You're not going to miss out on that much. Yeah, I mean, look, you can play the game however you want. You know, like I still, I mean, I haven't logged into WoW in 8 months, but I'm sure I'll be back on. I'll be back at the Gold Chirant in no time, you know. But I think like the real thing with WoW is you're not missing out on like this crazy experience. The way the Final Fantasy is built is so different, so it does feel like you're missing out on a lot if you do boost. But to talk about the next expansion without any spoilers, because obviously Asmon's a little bit slower than I am at playing the game. I'm pretty quick with like the MSQ. Actually, like one of the fastest new players, kind of going for like a little bit of a speed run, any percent full clear.
Sorry, I was just trying to clear all the raid content, the hardest difficulty.
Oh yeah. I totally understand that. Yeah. That's totally fine. I'm gonna get to that eventually. I'm actually about to work on my ACAB weapon. I'm really excited for that. That's probably next week for me. Get a new book. I carry a pretty badass book around with me, but I digress. I think one of the things I've heard about the new expansion, I'm not sure if this is completely rumors or not, but I've heard that it's like 40% longer or something, just on the MSQ side compared to this, the what's it called, Shadowbringers. And Shadowbringers, without any spoilers, just feels like it had like 10 times the budget of any other expansion. And I'm still pretty early in it. It just feels like a completely different game. So when you're talking about the next expansion feeling like it really is going to be one of the best ones yet, is it because of things like that? Does it feel like they do have more budget going into things? Does it feel like the team's bigger? Or like what's making you have that prediction?
I think so. I think, okay, so when I say that it's going to be the best, I think it's going to be the best player base wise, because dude, Final Fantasy's never been this hype before. Like I've fucking streamed this game for over 6 years, man, and Final Fantasy has never been this hype before. So I think like player base wise, they were guaranteed to get one ultimate, or well, they said we're guaranteed to get one ultimate. Hopefully we get two. Yeah, but that's another conversation. But I think it's going to be really, really fucking big though. Like in terms of like the amount of players and the hype and stuff, because man, like I said, like since like all you guys like came over or whatever, like, you know, you guys like Max, like all like a lot of the WoW community, dude, it's never been this hype before. It's fucking insane. Like if you have played,
sorry to jump into really.
Oh no, you good.
The cool thing is though, is it's like every part of the WoW community's come over and they're all playing the game differently and they're all happy. You know, like you mentioned Max, for example, you know, somebody who does like the end game content at like a super high level. So like kind of like a player like me. And then you have like the more casual players who collect mounts and things like that. And they're also having a good time.
I think that's one of the good things about the game, right? Is like somebody who's come in and tried to do a lot of different things. It's cool to just be able to set your own examples and set your own goals of like what you want to do, rather than worry about, oh man, I have to do this or I have to do that or anything like that. I feel like that's one of the best things about the game, at least for me personally, is that there aren't those like arbitrary things that you feel like you have to do, or at least like for me so far. WoW's had a lot of those, and I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people have wanted to move over, is to have more of a freeform experience. It's also like more socially minded too. Zeno, have you felt like the community has changed at all since all these people are coming over to the game?
Yeah, I think it's changed.
How?
It's either changed or brought out some stuff that I didn't know was there before. Dude, I had no idea so many people gave a shit about UI, man. Like, holy moly. There's a
Yeah.
UI and mods, dude. Like, that's like a thing in WoW, but over here, let me tell you guys, all right? That's not a thing over here. I mean, not really. Like, Final Fantasy is, at least in my experience, Final Fantasy is kind of like, all right, so you know how WoW is just like toxic, like right up front, like, oh, your parses suck, fuck you, whatever. But over here, so over here, the same shit, except for it's like behind closed doors. It's like behind DMs, It's like some peepo giggle shit, like and I think a lot of that is like gatekeeping and shit. Like a lot of that is like being exposed more now. So I don't know if the community has necessarily changed. I think like a lot of that has been exposed, I guess, because I've been watching a lot of Max's Prog, and the amount of times that people will ask me what I think about his UI is absolutely insane, man. It's like, dude, it's not your UI. Why does it bother you, man?
Like,
it's just crazy to me.
People will comment without having any idea like how your peripherals are set up too, which I always thought was funny. Like, also one of the trends in the WoW community that maybe you know about, maybe you don't know about, like for people like Max and those high-end players, on their stream they will have their full UI like listed in their panels, and people would like download them and like try to copy their UI. But yeah, the amount of times that you'll have like somebody come in and be like, really, shift equal sign? How are you using shift equal sign? And like they won't understand what your peripherals look like at all. It's very weird. It's a very WoW thing. But you talk about like behind closed doors. I imagine for like end game progression, you need to at a certain point, whether it's in a toxic way or like not in a toxic way, you have to be like, yo, you fucked up. Like, get it together if you're doing end game progression. So like, what is the real difference between the World of Warcraft community and the Final Fantasy community with moments like that? Because like when Max is in a group, to use him as an example again, if he's in a group with all people he knows, it's going to be a very different dynamic, right? Like they know how to interact with each other. Like Asmon and I, we've played games together for years now. If Asmon goes, yo, dude, you're a fucking idiot, dude, I'm like, yeah, I fucked up. I'll be a little bit better, right? The next pull. What's the dynamic like for Final Fantasy? Are people ever like somewhat scared to challenge a mistake?
Well, like I can really only speak for I guess like the groups I'm in, or like what I've seen on like other streams and what I've seen in the Party Finder. But I can tell you this: in the Party Finder, people don't say shit. You get banned so fast. This game will ban you for the stupidest fucking shit, man. I'm not even kidding. Like I like
you've been banned.
You got banned.
Yeah.
How'd that happen?
I got thrown in the jail, man. I got thrown in the jail for all right. I got thrown in the jail for vulgarity.
I can see that.
Oh, okay. But they didn't actually tell me the reason. Besides that, like they didn't show me a clip. They didn't tell me anything. I actually asked the GM. I was like, because they said, okay, you have a piece of footage that was against TOS, and I was like, okay, well, what piece of footage? Okay, we can't tell you. Huh? Okay. Well, can you at least give me a day that it happened? Nah, we can't tell you.
Oh my god.
So okay, yeah, no. So that's like, okay, so let's say you go into work, right? Let's say you go into work and your manager like pulls you into the office and he says, "Hey, we got you on camera doing something. And we're going to suspend you." Yeah. Oh, really? Okay. Well, what was it? We're actually not going to show you. What?
Okay. I hate to tell you this, but we actually work for a place that does that.
Yeah, I mean, it happens in all different workplaces. I actually have a friend who's a doctor, and it happened to him as well. So I feel like this is just a thing in society at this point.
It is, man. It's fucking like if you get banned or something, I feel like, man, that they should give you evidence? Because honestly, I have no idea. Like, so basically what it came down to was they were like, hey, you have a clip you have to delete, but we can't tell you what clip. We can't tell you what day. We just have to tell you that there's a clip you have to delete. Okay, well, that's a big fucking what the fuck, because I have so many clips. I have so much footage. Like, I guess I'll just delete everything then, so that's what I did.
So you never got clarification?
No, I never did. Actually, here.
Wow.
Let me.
Yeah.
You dropped something in the chat.
Yeah.
I want to throw it up. Yeah. I feel like, so one of the reasons I did want to talk about this is because I think we've seen the good side of it, right? I think Asmon in particular, right? Like Asmon getting stream sniped was something that was monitored, and the people got like a slap on the wrist, and then people stopped doing it, right? Because people actually cared. And in World of Warcraft, we got stream sniped for years. It didn't matter how big of a streamer you were. And honestly, it didn't even matter if you were a streamer. If you were like a girl or like, honestly, anything, people would just target you and nonstop stream snipe you. And that was something that we dealt with for a long time, and nobody really helped, which was obviously really bad. And I think a thing that made a lot of people quit WoW. So I think some of the good sides of it are definitely apparent. But then, I think your situation, it's good to talk about both sides. No system's going to be completely perfect, and try to figure out, where the system should actually fall in the middle.
The thing is, man, is that I wasn't even disputing the ban, right? Because I say some, I say some questionable shit. It's fine. It's whatever, So I wasn't disputing the ban. Like, people were confusing my, I guess, annoyance of me wanting to dispute the ban versus just knowing what it was. Like, I don't give a shit that I actually get. It was like 7 days or whatever. It was fine. It was a content drought anyway. It didn't matter. Like, I didn't care. Like, I would have cared if it would have been like on a Savage patch or something, but it wasn't. So I didn't really care. But what was important to me was that I needed to know how I fucked up so I could not repeat the same mistake.
Yeah.
Like that's like, I'm not disputing the ban. Like, if I said something that pissed somebody off, they absolutely had the right to report or whatever, I'm not disputing that. But what I am disputing is like, dude, how can I fix something that I did wrong if I don't know what it was? You know what I'm saying?
Have you ever been suspended or anything like that afterwards?
No, I never have.
So it was just that one time. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, I never have. It came out of nowhere, and they didn't give me a reason. Yeah. So, like, what am I? I mean, like, I'm not butthurt at Square Enix, like fuck you, man. Nah, that's not it at all. I'm just like you could at least told me why. You know what I'm saying? Because it was annoying. Because I have to do random purges of my clips and shit because of that. And
that's crazy.
I've had to put my VODs on sub only and shit. It's just, dude, it's just fucking hate watchers, man. It's just these ass hurt motherfuckers that all they do is they follow your stream, they follow your content, and they thumbs down all your videos immediately. They literally live their life to hope that they see you fuck up.
They call you short. And right,
I hate to hear it, man.
They call you short. They say you're bad at the game, but it's just it's all fake, dude. It's all fake, stupid hate watchers. I have them too, man.
Yeah, it's. I think that this is very common with every game. I'm surprised. I would be surprised if Final Fantasy didn't have that. WoW has had that kind of stuff for years. There have been people that would they'll message me on one character, and then I will just ignore their message, and then I'll get on another character to message me again, and it's just oh, it's so weird. So I'm very used to that, and it's one of those things where Final Fantasy, that was one of the things I was a little bit worried about going into the game. That oh, well, will I get in trouble for just being me, right? Will I get in trouble for that? But so far, it hasn't really been that bad. Let me ask you something. You've done ultimates before. Does that ever get toxic with other people, or is it still pretty civil?
I mean, it just depends on the. I think it just depends on the situation. Like on Aether, which I'm pretty sure both you guys are on, right?
Yeah.
So you can actually pug ultimates on Aether.
Wow.
Yeah, you can prog them and pug them. And as long as you, as long as you do there's Discords and stuff. There's one for Primal. There's one for Aether, and I can't really speak for the one for Primal because I haven't ever been in that one, but the one on Aether is pretty good. A lot of almost every single group I've ever joined, like a pug group or whatever, everyone in the group is pretty familiar with the strategies. I mean, I get, some people like stream snipe, which is fine. They jump in there because, they're watching the stream. That's fine. But like, there's a lot of people that are already in the party and the strats are pretty much the same. I really haven't encountered like different strats. So as long as you like use the strats in like specific, like I guess like discords or like the common like pug strats, like you can you can really have a lot of good progress in those groups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually, so I was playing with Summit, who I think he already beat the game because I haven't seen him play it in a while. But I was playing with Summit and we were raiding, and we were just pulling in random people. And I feel like the quality of players on Ether is just like really high. Like there was this one guy who stuck out to me. His name was Sfia, just like random pug, and he did really well. It felt like he saw the mechanics beforehand, and that was one of the things that I wanted to ask you. Do the different, I forget what they're even called. Like Aether, and then I forget what you said the other one are. They do all of the different what are they called? Like realms?
Data centers, right?
Data centers. Yeah. Do the data centers, do they have like very different vibes? Like are we on one that's more concerned with endgame content, like randomly and we just ended up there, or do the data centers not really have big differences like that? Am I just like looking into it too much?
Well,
is Crystal doesn't weird shit happen on that one?
Yeah, I've heard Crystal's the ERP data center, but I mean, I'm pretty sure Crystal has. Look, man, Crystal. If you're trying to raid, you don't want to be on Crystal, man. Look, I'm sorry. If you're trying to raid, you don't want to be on Crystal. Okay, I'm sure there's good people on Crystal, but if you're trying to jump in the party finder, dude, you don't want to fucking be on that shit data center, man. It ain't gonna happen. All right, that's my opinion. Yeah, but like Primal is like pretty good. Okay,
wait, it's gonna be fan on Crystal.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, we have a friend who's on Crystal, so that makes it even better. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, I think that is interesting that different types of servers have like their own cultures and communities, because he joined that one because it was like the RP one, whereas like I joined Aether because I heard that was the raiding one, and I thought that was the one where more people were like progression oriented. So that was my mindset with it too. I think that's a good thing.
I remember like S-Fan actually, like I was watching a stream and he like went to a convention that I think was like only on that data center, right? So very, very different experiences that already seen between those two data centers. So it is interesting to like hear those big differences. I know that there's a change coming in the new expansion, and I've been a little confused because I really only listened to people like in Asmon's chat or in my chat about how the changes actually work. Are you actually going to be able to go data center to the data centers S-Fan now on Crystal? But are you actually going to be able to go like data center to data center? Are you going to be able to play cross region? How is that new function actually going to work?
You're just gonna so like everyone on Aether, Primal, and Crystal should be able to play with each other. And then I think the EU data centers, I mean, I guess there's only two, but yeah. And then JP, it's like from what they said, you can't go from like EU to JP or JP to NA or something like that. It has to be like within the region, I guess. But all the data centers in the region, yeah, you should be able to. So like Aether people will be able to play with Crystal. So eventually, it's not really going to matter actually. Like between Aether and Aether, Crystal, and Primal, it's just going to be like I guess region. But anyway, so to answer your question though, like, is it like, do you like hold people accountable, or is it toxic or whatever within? It just really depends on the group, man. But I know like if you're in the I know like for statics or whatever, they like have their own like set of rules, and I think too many people care about logs when they recruit for statics because I think that if you're going to look at a log, you need to look at like the person's like history too, just not their best, because I mean, everybody can just get lucky sometimes. But as far as like the party finder stuff, it's from what I've seen, if you go in to like an ultimate, like pug, and you don't know what you're doing, it's very obvious. and either one of two things happens: either the group disbands because they're too afraid to kick one person, or they just leave. They kick that person and just replace them. But nobody says anything though. You never type anything in game, because that's a big no. You don't do that.
Yeah, that's apparently what you're not supposed to do. That's what I've heard too, that you've got to watch out for that and, make sure none of that kind of stuff happens. Because yeah, I've heard about people getting suspended and get in trouble for like so many different things, even stuff that's like off platform. So like generally what I do, and like this is what I started doing. The thing is, like, this has happened with me on WoW too, is that like WoW will punish you for that stuff if like a lot of people report you. So like I know that, anytime that I say or do anything, there are people just waiting for that opportunity to fucking right click report my ass, right? Just to be able to do something. So I am the most law abiding citizen in every game that I play because I don't want to accidentally get in trouble. So I'm very, very used to that. But yeah, I would say that's definitely it's a difference in a way, especially with the community overall versus like in Final Fantasy. And I was curious, like, so whenever they say like posting DPS logs and like log shaming is against the rules, is that because of the logs or is it because it's an add-on? Like, how does that work with add-ons in the game?
It's
there.
Yeah, so like ACT and shit, man, like a lot of people, they're like, hey, don't use it, or, well, I guess not a lot, but some people, they're like, hey, don't use it, you'll get banned. You don't actually get banned for using ACT. If you were to get banned for using ACT, like I would have been banned well, okay. I would have been banned for ACT, not vulgarity, like
right.
A long time ago, right? Like sometimes people are just like, oh, we got banned because they use ACT. No, dude, shut up. That's not it. That's not why, man. You get banned for harassment. Like Yoshi has said like multiple times, dude, they don't give a shit if you use ACT. They give a shit if you harass people with it because there's a difference. But for some reason, like people can't tell the fucking, they can't tell the difference. They don't know what, harassment is apparently. But like, if someone gets banned for using ACT, right, it's because they got banned for harassment first. It would be the same as like you kick someone and you don't even talk about their logs or anything, right? You just kick someone and you say a bunch of gamer words and you say idiot and, all this shit, right? And then they report you. Well, that has nothing to do with ACT. You're just harassing someone at that point. You know what I mean? So like they really don't care if you use ACT. ACT is awesome. I think everybody should use ACT. But like there's some pretty crazy like mods and like third-party program and stuff in this game.
Can you promote them on in game?
Yeah,
that's the thing. Is like I've seen like other mods where like it makes certain characters' features larger than average, and like I just didn't know if these were, you can promote these or even talk about these in game.
Me personally, I would never, but I don't give a fuck what anybody else. I don't fucking talk in game, man. Yeah. I just don't. Like, I just, you know what? The only thing, okay, here's what I say. All right. I join a party and I type a smiley face in chat. If someone says hello to me, I type a smiley face, and then it's either when the group disbands or when we clear, I say, thanks everyone. What a wonderful group with an exclamation mark. And then I get the fuck out of there, man. Yeah, that's what I do. Besides that, I don't type in game, man.
That's probably a good thing. I would say that's a very good thing. I do kind of the same thing. I remember like, so Warcraft has they have a system. It's called the silencing system. And you can get automatically silenced if enough people report you. And this was really common in like classic WoW. So whenever it came out, Blizzard was adamant in saying that it was not automated. It was not automated. And they promised us that it wasn't automated. So what I did is I invited all of my friends together in like my own, like pretty much my garrison, which is like player housing in WoW. And I had them all get in a circle around me. And I typed, my name is Asmongold and I love World of Warcraft. And they right-click reported me for language, and I got fucking silenced.
Oh my god!
And it was in like 5 seconds, or like more like less than 5 minutes. And on top of that, it was at like 3 a.m. And I remember it just completely fucking called it out. Everybody knew it was gonna happen, and like I thought it was too. I still have the article too. It is really, really fucking funny. Yeah, it's still on YouTube. And It was a great
So
time.
when you get silenced, you can't. What does that entail? Like you can't talk at all?
Yeah, pretty much. Like,
Silence is like a shadow ban, right? They didn't even. Yeah.
It's basically like they put all of the free to play restrictions on you that you have in Final Fantasy. You know, like you can't talk to a bunch of other people. You can't spam for things. You can't use like general chat, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, this is it was a really good time. It was crazy because like that happened. No, I think if that video there, that might not even be the video. It could be even longer ago than that. It's hard really for me to say. Yeah, it is. This happened like in Warlords of Draenor. Like you're gonna have to go all the way back to like 2016 videos. That's how long ago it was.
That was when we met.
And the funny thing about it is that, so I called it into attention. I said, this is a really bad problem and people are going to abuse this. And Blizzard, of course, ignored me. And in Classic WoW, there are these world bosses that spawn. And like in Final Fantasy, you know, whenever you do like the hunts, which are kind of the most similar thing, where everybody goes in to kill a world boss, well, then the world boss dies and people just get their stuff. Well, in WoW, you can only have that drop for like one raid group, and that's it. So if you're not in that raid group, you don't get any loot out of it. So obviously, you're going to have a lot of raid groups competing with each other against this. So guilds would form what were called coalitions, and they would all get in a Discord channel. And whenever they saw people trying to organize in the general chat that weren't part of the the coalition, they would have everybody in the Discord channel all at the same time right-click report that person and send them offline. It was the funniest fucking thing.
That's
and
so
you would just see
fucking
people,
toxic,
you know, yeah, their little spirits disappearing and then like running in place and their character going away. And it was actually like, it was funny to me because like I knew this shit was going to happen and it just didn't happen until then. Yeah, it was so bad. So I think that's one of the things that, you know, I'm not really that surprised about with any of these systems in Final Fantasy 2, but at least it seems like those and the GM responses and all that, they seem to be more humane because that's definitely a positive.
Maybe I shouldn't talk in the chat so much. I feel like I'm talking in the chat like way too much. Like pretty much every time I go into a new group, I'm like, wow, this group makes me feel so secure. I haven't felt this secure since I downloaded NordVPN using code Allcraft. You can do it too. The official sponsor of Allcraft, NordVPN. Please go use code Allcraft or we're going to get banned from our sponsor. Please, right now. Hurry. Thank you. Thank you very much. And so I say that in the chat all the time. That's 100% true. But maybe I should be careful about it. Maybe I should be more careful about it. Have you seen the culture of groups change much in Pugs? Because I know at the very beginning of the episode, we didn't dive all the way into it. You kind of mentioned that a lot of the changes that you've seen in the game kind of were around putting a spotlight on certain things and some of the gatekeeping aspects. But is the overall culture of the game changing for better or for worse?
From what I've seen, besides like popularity, I guess like there's a lot more people in the party. Like actually, back in the day, there was no party finder. You had to use duty finder, so you had to like queue in and get a bunch of like super randoms. So yeah, that was was fun. But like I don't think like the core of like I don't know. I guess like the Pug or like PF stuff. I mean, even statics really has like changed like too much, man. I mean, people always like back in the day, people still looked at like, well, there wasn't logs back in the day, but you still had to trial, you had to like prove yourself or whatever, you know. It's just now like with logs, it's like more accessible, or it's easier rather. But I mean, PF is still really stupid, and they use the first strat that has a video or whatever. Like they use the first video. So like, yo, I shit on Crystal earlier, but yo, let me tell you, Aether. Okay, so like, in Eden's verse, Aether used the fucking stupidest strat for like the hardest fight. Okay, and Crystal didn't. So you know what? Crystal was better than Aether during Eden's verse. So good for you, Crystal. I wish Crystal would have. It was so bad, dude. It was so bad. Like it completely fucking ruined Party Finder because the people in Party Finder was so stupid that they kept using this strat. And that's why Shiva like shit all over the Party Finder. But anyway, that's another story. But yeah, I think I think like as far as like that kind of stuff goes, it's the same. It's just like way more popular.
Yeah, I'm not surprised about that. That is kind of interesting. I mean, there are like, I'm sure, different ways that people do things. I know that whenever I had a chance to play with people on like the Asian servers on the betas for games before, they would have like a totally different strat of how they would handle things, and it was actually like really cool to see the different ways that people would play the game. But speaking of different ways to play the game, I know that there have been a lot of people who have talked to you about the way that I play the game. And I think that I had a question. So people, they call and they say that if I open with plunge, it's a bad thing. Is that right?
Yeah, that's all right, man. That's all right.
Why?
Okay.
Okay.
So if you open with plunge, all right,
Yeah.
you have. We'll just say there's two melee, because typically people think that you have to have two melee. You don't have to have two melee. You only need one, but we'll just say two, because typically you have two. Okay, so if you open with plunge, the two melee and the off tank, they're standing back there, and you keep the boss up there while they're all the way back here. So like you have three people that have concerned froge looks on their face, all looking at each other and then looking at the person who pulled with plunge where the boss isn't moving. So now they have to run because they didn't know you were going to do that. So now they have to run from where they're at all the way up to the boss, and they miss like GCDs. So it's really, really bad. You should never do it. Plus, if you start with like an off GCD, it doesn't like it can mess your GCD up. It can mess your timing up.
You're basically just clipping, right? Like, I
yeah.
don't know
So
why anyone would do that. Yeah. Wait, Asmon, wait, you weren't at, you were. This was like a hypothetical to make sure other players are playing well, right?
Bro, it's like you charge in. That's the first GC. That's just what you do, right? I mean, I didn't know there was anything more to it than that. So
but
it's
the charge isn't a GCD.
No, you're right about that. So like, would I want to use that at the same time as I use another attack? Because usually it gets me over there really fast. So it's bad because it puts your melee in a weird spot. Is that pretty much it?
Yeah. Well, okay. So like when you like do so when you do a fight, now this is what I like to do. Some people start with plunge. That's fine. People can do whatever the fuck they want as long as I'm not in their group. I don't give a shit, right? I don't give a shit. But you want to hit the boss at the same time, like every time, because if you want to be greedy, because man, okay, all right. I'm gonna be honest here. I really like being greedy. Like in fights, same. I really like greeting GCDs, and and if you don't hit the boss at a consistent time at the very, very like same time, some mechanics you won't be able to greed. So if there's a mechanic where you have to run away from the boss, if you don't hit it at the same time, then your GCD might be misaligned to where you can't hit it, and you have to run out. So now you're a GCD behind. So actually, because you plunged in and you clipped your GCD a little bit, you're actually like 30 seconds, 40 seconds into the fight, you're actually down a GCD because you clipped. So it's just really bad. Also, it like fucks over your kill take and your melee. Yeah. Like typically, I don't start with an off GCD. I mean, there are times where I do, but they don't happen very often. And I play the game like long enough to kind of like once you play this game so long, you literally can feel the server tick, and I'm not even kidding, dude. You feel the server tick. So
I feel
after
that
you
already.
have that, yes. So after you start to like feel that, you feel when you're gonna get hit. You're like, I don't know about this. Like that kind of stuff. Then yeah, it makes it easier. But like if you're like pulling or tanking, like. Yeah, you don't want to start with plunge. You don't want to start with plunge, man.
So what do I start with instead? Do I just start my combo?
It depends on the fight. So the last thing the last thing I saw was you were in A4 Savage. Ooh. So like that boss, dude, that fight is horrible. Okay? The game gets good again after that. I promise you, man. Like Midas, which is the next raid tier after Gordius, Midas was arguably the best raid tier ever. That's how good it gets. Yeah, that's how good it gets. So,
all right. Okay, I'm glad
so
to
it's
hear that.
really
It was a
good.
real
It's
pain in the ass.
Nah, man, Gordius was like the worst raid tier. Like, it was one of the worst raid tiers. It was so bad. It was so bad. It killed the raid scene. Like, it literally killed the raid scene. Like, Living Liquid A3 was a static killer. Most groups didn't even kill it.
See, we killed that one. That one was actually pretty fun to progress on. But the A4 wasn't at all, because we just had to sit there and wait for the debuff to go out, and then wait for everybody to die to the debuff.
Yeah,
it was
A4
like
is really
everything was
bad.
perfect
Really
until
bad.
it wasn't. It was so frustrating to progress on.
Like, do you know what the common strat was to kill that fight?
Sacking people.
Yeah. That's how bad of a fight. You kill yourself to beat the fight. Like, what the fuck were they thinking? What the fuck were they thinking?
I think
that's
well, I thought that like you were supposed to use the Nisi buff in order to soak those circles, because the Nisi buff would reduce the damage that you took. So I think you were supposed to keep it up throughout the first phase or the fourth phase going into the fifth phase. That's what I thought it was, but I don't. We still haven't killed it, so I don't know.
Yeah, so you're supposed to keep that Nisi, and then you use the Nisi to like destroy the like pentacles.
Yeah.
It's been a really long time since I've actually done that. And but the common strat was to just fucking put Pega your way through 2 of them. So there's like 6 of them, right, or whatever. So you just sack 3 people, and then it like the healer limit break 3 was a part of the strategy. So after you like kill yourself, then you healer LB3 everybody up, and it actually worked out like pretty good because I think like the second sack or something was like a healer, and then you res them with full mana or something like that, and then the off tank was just like every fucking oh man, dude.
Yeah,
it was just a really bad. It's like the worst fight ever made. Like it's so bad. Like if you skip it and never go back to it, no one with a brain would blame you.
Okay,
if you're
so
like
a lot of people are gonna blame me.
Yes, exactly. A lot of people are going to blame you. Yes, but they don't have working, functioning brains, so it's fine. It's fine.
All right.
Well, what is Shirk?
Ooh, Shirk is a very, very important tank tool that you should use.
So
I feel like 2 people here don't know what it is. So if you could explain it a little bit more, that'd probably be good.
So, okay. So let's say me and you are tanking. All right. So let's say me and you are tanking. All right. And you get hit with a tank buster. That puts like a vuln on you. All right, so then I'm gonna evoke. Boom. Okay, now I got it. If you don't shirk, because your dick is so big and you're dealing so much more damage, you're gonna rip threat, and the boss is gonna turn to you, and because you have that debuff, he's gonna kill you in 1 hit.
So that's my understanding was like, I thought provoke gave you more immunity generation temporarily while you were using the buff, and that allowed you to taunt off without needing to use shirk. Is that not true?
So it does give you threat. It used to be it only gave you 1, but now it gives you plus one and then some. The problem is like okay. So let's say that you're in your burst window, and some tanks burst windows are like way more like damage than others. So like Warrior, for example, when they use inner release, they like auto crit like 5 fell cleaves in a row, plus they get an inner chaos. They're doing a lot of damage in their burst. So like if like let's say you're playing Warrior and I have to voke off you, but you're in your burst, there's absolutely no way that I'm keeping threat unless you shirk me. Because because all of your crits are just going to pull it back.
Okay, and, so it's bad whenever somebody else is just doing way more damage than you are. And like in Final Fantasy, there's no real reason for you to save your burst damage to generate threat or anything like that. You should just be playing basically like a DPS.
Yeah. Also, like there is, so you can turn off your tank stance.
Yeah.
But the problem with that, man, is like sometimes you forget to put it back on. So like,
I have that happen at the start of
raid. Yeah. So let's say there's like another tank swap later, and you forget to turn it on, and then you voke, and I still have mine on, even though you voked after like one attack, because tank stance is so strong, right? Like I'm gonna rip it back.
Yeah.
So it's just like basically like my mentality is Shirk is absolutely free, and it should always be used. And as a backup, you can always just turn your tank stance off. The way this game works is typically if you need a swap, Shirk will always be available. Like there are some cases where Shirk isn't available, but for the most part, Shirk is always available. So you should definitely use it because it's free.
So I actually have a question, and I haven't gotten to talk to somebody who tanks about this, just about threat in general. So I've been noticing I'm always right under the tanks on threat. Am I doing something wrong?
No, it just means you have a massive dick, man. You're just doing that damage. Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure I wasn't.
He's just playing with one other person.
Oh.
It's just him and like another person. That's it. Yeah, it's nothing to do with that. Yeah, it's like him just doing something else. It's not that big of a deal. Well, okay, that makes a lot of sense. And also, like about the ultimate fights, how realistic do you think it is that I could complete an ultimate before Endwalker?
Oh, I think you definitely could, 100%.
Really?
Oh yeah. I think you could. The only thing is, I would say you should probably get the fuck out of Palace of the Dead, and I would say you should probably get the fuck out of Gold Saucer for at least a few days.
Yeah, I think I might have to do that. It's hard to do though. I mean, it's fun. I just sit there. Palace of the Dead has been a real pain in the ass, but Gold Saucer is fun at least. Yeah, okay, that's good to know.
Like if you're like really wanting to do an ultimate, like I said, man, honestly, you could probably pug it. And I'm not just saying that. Like when I stream for the past I don't know, like 3 weeks, all I've been doing is pugging ultimates. Like I'll pug an ultimate, and sometimes we clear, sometimes we don't. I mean, it's a pug, so it's not a guaranteed clear, but sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. I can tell you I have more clears than not clears, though. I mean, it's not like by a lot, but I do have more clears. Actually, the other day, there was this one person in the Party Finder who I was trying to help clear Ultima, and we tried for 3 days, and we finally got it yesterday. So that was fucking pog. And so, I mean, it's definitely possible. It's just like it's gonna take some time, though. It's just gonna take some time, man. It's gonna be like weeks probably unless you're going there. I think yeah. I really think so, man.
ACOB down by next week, like no joke. But the thing is, though, is like I actually do think I'm going to be able to do it. Like I'm not even memeing. I really do think I think I'm going to be able to do it. Did you just get raided by Hassan? What's going on in the chat?
Well, Rich plays Genshin Impact, so you can kind of assume how he plans on getting that title.
No. That's not the thing. I legitimately, I've started to put together a group. There are some people who you could consider in the group that are very good at the game.
Yeah.
But there will be people who aren't very good at the game in there who need to learn and progress, like myself.
Yeah.
I think I can get it. Like, how many people do you think I should have in my group that already know how to go about the fight? Like, what's the right balance? Because I don't want to be there forever. I think it's good to have some mentors for the sprouts. I don't think you want to go in completely blind.
So like, man, I've been ever since that you guys were saying that you want to do ultimate, man. I've actually been very opinionated on that. Like at first, so anyway, to answer your question real quick, I think you should go in there with 7, honestly. I mean 6 or 7, and the reason why is because, like you said, you don't want to be in there forever, and it's like I think that people, regardless if you go in there with 7 or with 0, right? Let's say you go in there blind, fresh prog, and it takes you like 3 months. People are still going to say you're going to get carried. They're still going to say it. So, like, there's just no way around it, right? But I mean, fuck them. They don't even have a brain, so whatever. But the reason why I really say 7 is because, like, you can go in there with 7 cleared people and still like you still have to learn how to do everything, right? I mean, you're not just gonna like go in and just be dead the whole time, right? Because that's dumb. You still have to learn everything. Like you still have responsibilities. One thing that really fucking annoyed me, man, fucking dude, Twitch chat, dude, really fucking annoyed me is when you were doing
Yep.
T8, and in T8, all the main tank does is just stand there. That's all the main tank does in that fight. And Twitch chat was like, lol, gets carried, just stand there. What the fuck did you want? Like, what the fuck did they expect you to do?
You mean on like Nail?
No, on Avatar. Like the guy with the towers. He had all these arms and he had like little tiny feet. It was right before Nail. Yeah, so you don't even remember him because you were just standing there, but you were doing exactly what the tank did years ago. Like that's what the tank does in that fight. He just stands there. And like I remember people are like, man, I had somebody in my chat say that you were getting carried because people were giving you food in pots, dude. Like,
oh
are you fucking kidding me right now, dude?
Yeah,
What?
yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
his name was dude, Avatar. I thought his name was the Arbiter.
No, it was Avatar.
What the fuck? I call him the Arbiter the whole time.
Spoilers. Wow. I had a dentist appointment. I didn't get to clear coils yet.
Yeah, this fight sucks. I hated that fight so much. That's literally all I did was I stood there.
Yeah.
I think there was one ability where I would get gripped into the other tank and I would have to walk to him, and that was pretty much about it. I didn't do a damn thing. It was the same thing with Nail. I didn't do a damn thing on that either. Yeah,
that's just what the tank does in that fight.
Yeah.
So I don't know what people expect. Like, do they want you to not play what you want to play and go in and like go into a fight with a different role each time, the role that has the most responsibility? That's just stupid. That's dumb, man.
I think that a lot of it this is the same thing that happened in Dark Souls.
I did do this.
Is that if I kill it too slow, I suck. If I kill it too fast, I Googled it. And if I'm killing it on time, then it's just Omega Lol or something like that. I think people, they want to see you relive their pain. And if you get to have their pleasure without their pain, they're pissed off about it. I think that's what it is most of the time. They want to see you suffer the same way they did. So as soon as people saw me wiping on like Living Liquid, they were so happy. They were like, yes, he's wiping. Oh, this is great. Or King Thordan, oh, he's wiping. This is awesome. I'm so happy. You know, but then whenever we kill a boss in like 3 tries, they're mauling out. They're furious. I remember I killed, who was it? Champion. Did you ever play Dark Souls 3?
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I killed Champion Gundyr in like 6 attempts on this like fat rolling 2-handed weapon shitty build because he literally missed 2 of his attacks in a row and I just auto attacked them R1 spam to death and I killed him. And I remember my chat was mauling out over that so fucking hard. And it was so funny because everybody had built it up to be like this thing that I was going to die to, and I just got completely fucking lucky and I killed it. And I think that's what it really is that people want to see you relive their pain.
Also, they try to make you do stuff that they didn't even do. Like, yeah. It's like, yeah, I'm going to learn the mechanics of the fight. And they're all like, no help. It's like, what? Like, you all learned the mechanics of the fight before you did this. Like, it's like you go in blind and you mess up a mechanic. It's like, how are you so stupid? It's like, that's the first time I saw that. I actually do like going in blind and dying to stuff. Like, I actually genuinely do like that because it is a cool experience, right? Like figuring it out on the fly. It takes more time. I think it is kind of like a cool arc in general, but there's a time and a place for it, right? Like when you're playing with a bunch of friends who are okay with you dying to the same thing over and over again, that's fine. But there are going to be other times, like when I go in and do like a quick re-clear of T, probably 3 weeks from now, when I'm like just farming up my alt weapons for, you know, I want to get that samurai sword. It looks pretty cool. I'm probably just going to use it for RP, and that's why I'm going to be farming T, is mostly for RP later down the line. I'm going to know the mechanics already, right? I'm not just going to die to the random stuff. I'm going to do the fight the right way, and I think that understanding those differences between what the streamer is doing at one moment to another is a nuance that not everybody in chat has figured out yet.
Yeah, like chat just has unrealistic expectations, man. It's like most of these motherfuckers in chat didn't blind prog shit. They didn't blind prog shit. You know what they did? They waited for blind proggers to come out with videos And then they just were like, okay, let's look at the video real quick. Let's see how they did this. But then they expect you to go in and blind prog. Okay. Yeah. And that's like 99% of these motherfuckers in here. They're and like, yo, we want you to blind prog. And they didn't even do it.
If there's one guy that figures it out and then he tells you inside of your own group, oh, that guy looked it up. He looked it up for you. And so now it's just, it's not authentic. It's not real anymore. Wow, man. I can't believe you do this. This is a fake streamer. Like again, like another streamer that's fake.
Yeah. It's just like insanely small PP energy, man. It's like, dude, what the fuck? Yeah. It's like oh my God. It's just, dude, it's so fucking dumb, man. It's like they want you to go in and, you know, like you said, if you clear too fast, then you paid for it or you Googled it. But if you don't clear fast enough, then you suck. If you clear like just fast enough, it's, you know, it's like, dude, you just can't fucking win, man.
You can't win. Can you get carried in ultimates though? Like really?
Yeah, to a certain extent.
What extent?
You can. So, in T, not so much. So like right now, T is definitely the hardest ultimate. When UCOB was relevant, I think that they were about the same difficulty, but I'll explain why T is the hardest because you can't LB cheese. And the mechanics in phase 2 are ridiculously punishing. But that's my opinion. Also, there's a mechanic way later in the fight that's like really fucking hard. But what you can do in UCOB, for example, is you can really abuse the limit break. So because UCOB's level 70, there's not really the DPS check is like non-existent. Like there is no DPS check now. The fight isn't really balanced for the increased potencies. So like there's multiple phases where you can either tank LB or healer LB everybody up. And you can make that phase completely brain dead or completely save the run. And you can't do that in like T, for example. So that's why, like, because you can prog UCOB and Ultima so easy, that's why when you ask, I definitely 100% think you could clear, like 100%. Wow. I have no doubt in my mind.
How long would it take if we went in, let's say tomorrow? Like, would it take a week, 2 weeks, 10 days, 3 weeks?
I think it would depend on how many other people have cleared.
Okay.
And the reason why is because, so this is why I said that I think you should go in with 7 people, or even Rich. I think you guys should go in with 7 people, because with 7 people, you have way more control over the speed of your progression. So if you have 7 people that have already cleared the fight, you can just simply say, hey, this is the mentality of the group, right? I want to at least see the thing first to try to figure it out on my own. But if I can't or I'm stuck, then just fucking tell me. Like, I don't want to sit here for 2 days figuring out like fucking Nisi passes and T. Just fucking tell me. It's fine. You know, just let me at least try to figure it out like once or twice. Because like here's like another thing too, man. In like static settings and stuff, people have different strengths. So some people will be really good at puzzle mechanics. Other people will be really good at like finding uptime. Other people will be really good at like mitigation and shit like that, right? So like as a static, you're supposed to pool those skills together. So it's not like one person is coming up with like all of this, right? Because some people have better, their strengths are different than others. So like that's why if you go in there with 7 people that have already cleared, you can control the speed of your progression way faster, because if you're stuck on something, you can just be like, okay, fuck it. I don't get it. What is it? And that's completely fine. Like there have been mechanics like in my group that I have just completely fucking not understood at first, but my friend will, and vice versa. There's stuff that like some of my friends don't understand that I understand, or maybe that I have like a better, like more uptime strat, or maybe the strat I suggested isn't as good as someone else's, right? So it's supposed to like I feel like people expect you to know and like to know everything immediately and for everyone to use your strategy. And that's just not how it works in my opinion. That's just not how things actually work.
Yeah, so, I'm fully aware of that.
Are there still like, you know, you talk about UCOB, for example, like been out for a long time, is there still a lot of variance in the strat that each group is going to be using? Because, you know, with WoW, I feel like we tended to get to the place where there was a right way to do it, and pretty much everyone followed that route over time. And those fights were not out nearly as long as it, like, there's no reason to go back and do old content in WoW, right? It instantly becomes easy, sometimes even in the same expansion. So I am curious how much variance there actually is into the tactics of getting it down.
Well, I can really only speak for Aether because I haven't played on JP in like a year. I haven't played on Primal in like maybe 2 years. Last time I actually progged T on Primal. That was my T group was in Primal. But as far as Aether goes, almost every single party that I've ever been in has used the exact same strategy.
Okay.
So, like, even if you decide to pug it, you're probably going to use the same strategy every time. But yeah, like, I mean, there's also prog parties like in Party Finder. Like, if you don't feel like fucking around with a group and you just want to prog, you can also do that. But yeah, if you want to control the speed of your prog, I would definitely say go in with 7 people
You think
that have already cleared.
do you think, if, just out of curiosity, I don't think he's going to catch up to me because like I have been going for speed, but do you think Asmon and I plus 6 would be able to get it down?
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, like six cleared?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so.
I was just curious.
Yo, that'd be some lit content. That'd be fucking lit.
Wow. That would certainly be interesting. Let's say that would be certainly be a very interesting event. Let's just say that. Yeah,
be lit.
I just feel like that if you guys go in there with people that don't know what they're doing, okay, let me just say this. Wiping to Twintania because of twisters and fucking hatches for 5 hours, that's not fun to watch. That's fucking miserable, man. Like, nobody, like, sure, maybe the first 10 times he hit a twister. Oh man, that's funny.
Yeah.
He killed everyone. But then when it's like the 50th twister in the 4th hour that guy fucking hit and killed everybody, it's not really funny anymore. It's just like, holy shit, kick this motherfucker. He can't even dodge a goddamn twister.
Yeah,
that's the mentality. Yeah, get him the fuck out of here, man. So it's not like, I just don't think that's very. I mean, maybe some people like that shit. I don't know, man. But me, I don't like watching that shit. You know, if you do, then that's cool. You know, everybody's got their own thing. But me, I'm good, man. It's just, if you can control the speed of your prog, then the only person that basically needs to learn anything is like you or maybe another person, and you're not waiting for other people to catch up. Because sometimes what'll happen in like prog is you'll learn something super quick, right? But then there's 1 or 2 people that don't. And you're waiting pull after pull after pull after pull, and they just don't fucking get it. You know what I'm saying? A really good example of this is in Ultima. Uwu. There's this mechanic called Titan jails, and you have to line these jails up. And all right, I'm gonna save you guys some misery. Never join a party without auto markers. Just don't do it. Just trust me. Don't do it. It's miserable. You will not get past that mechanic in the party finder without auto markers. You won't, dude. Just it's really bad. But that's a really good example of one person completely holding everybody back, because sometimes, man, people cannot do jails. And okay, people can't do jail so much that mechanic, if there's someone that can't do a jail, you actually suicide that person and then res them after the mechanic.
But can't the healers just adjust though?
No, not for that. Not for that.
Okay, so I think it just are these mechanics that I have to know as a tank?
Yo, the good thing about jails is if you have threat, you don't even have to do them, man. Fuck them, dude. Just make the party do them. Main tank doesn't have to do jails, dude. Fuck them.
Yeah, there it is. See, this is why I wanted to play tank. Is this the same thing as in WoW? Is it tanks? Actually, most mechanics that tanks have in World of Warcraft is there is a debuff that goes on one tank, and then the other tank has to taunt off of the first tank until the first tank's debuff expires, and then the second tank gets the same debuff, that then the first tank taunts back over. And that's the whole thing. And the best thing about it is that whenever tanks do it right, everybody acts like the tanks are great. Like you get praised way more than what you deserve as a tank. And that's what I really like doing tanks for. Like I think tanking is the lowest level of responsibility with the highest level of praise. Like there are people that don't even know me, and I'll finish a group and get like 5 commendations. Like I'm just like they're spamming me with commendations.
Asmon's been farming commendations like he's a mentor. It's been crazy. Like I actually I've walked into his stream and he's pretty much like pre-thanking people for commendations at this point.
Giving out start asking for them. Yeah.
How many commendations do you guys have? Do you have?
I have 395.
I've been playing for like 8 years and I just have like 1,500.
Wow. So is it like bad form to go into a group and beg for commendations?
I mean, I think it's kind of cringe, bro.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of cringe, dude.
Where do you check your commendations?
It's you go to your character tab and then you go to reputation. Okay. Yeah, press C and go reputation. I just checked mine. That's how I know.
I've like been in part. I've like so I try to avoid the expert dungeon just because I don't really like dungeons in this game. They're kind of I'd rather just hunt and like watch like whatever, like Netflix or something. I'd rather just hunt. I really like hunt trains, but there's been some times in dungeons where like it's like just so obvious, man. People will literally have like a macro, this speech. They'll be like, "Hey everybody, how was your day? Like I hope we have a wonderful time." And it's just like, holy fuck, dude. Like that just makes me not want to give you a commendation. I'm giving a commendation to the fucking DPS because they use a limit break. Because for some reason, people don't want to use DPS limit breaks. I don't know why.
I always do insta, man. Don't worry. Usually at 2. The thing is in a group, like I've really learned the limit break thing. You just have to do it you have to do it when there's an uneven amount on one of the bars because nobody else will use it then. But if you wait until they're all full, the monk's going to use it. And I'm not trying to get, actually I can't say that because that's a split. Asmon, where are you in the story?
We just beat the Warriors of Darkness to Garuda.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm not wait, which no, I can't say it. Yeah, I can't say it. Never mind.
Yo, there's a really funny mechanic in that dungeon you just did.
Okay.
It's like on the second boss. It's called like Quick Feather. And it's a really fast cast, and then right after the cast there's an AoE marker that goes out in front of him. But what I used to do, man, oh dude, this is so mean, but it was so funny when I did it. What you can do is like well, if you like run through the boss right after that cast, he'll turn and he'll do that AoE. And there's like a very extremely high chance that he's going to fucking completely decimate a DPS or a healer that's standing behind him. And it's really funny to do.
I used to do a guide series on my YouTube, and it was how to kill people in LFR, which is basically like the how to like the super like how to raid version in WoW. And there was one boss who did this eye beam, and you would get a priest, and priests had the ability that would like grip people to them. And you could get on one side of the I-beam and just pull them right through the I-beam and instantly kill them. And there's nothing that they can do about it. It was one of the most fulfilling and best things ever. Like I was so sad whenever they that expansion ended. It was so good. Yeah, it's called Rescue apparently here.
Yeah.
I used to love doing it.
Yeah, I've been
the good old days.
So you don't get commendations when you're in a pre-made, right?
No.
Yeah, that's the problem for me. I've I found a really good group of friends, and I've been fostering a positive community in the game, so that's why my commendation number is what it is.
How many commendations do you have? 8 commendations? How'd you get 8?
I think I must have off stream like helped some people out. I've been working on Mentor. I'm gonna get my unicorn soon, so that's probably when I got those 8.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't know. Like, some of the grinds in this game are fucking insane. But I also wanted to say, what do you think about Palace of the Dead and that kind of content, the deep dungeons?
It's not really my content. I did do. I have done Palace of the Dead. I did do all the floors a couple times. It's man, I'm just not a fan of like gimmicky shit, I
Yeah.
guess. Like I'm not a fan of like the Palmanders. I wasn't really a fan of like too much of the there are these zones later you can go into. They're called Eureka and Boja. I won't like tell you too much about them or anything, but you get it's like gimmicky shit like that. And I wasn't the biggest fan of that stuff. I know some people like it, which is fine. But me personally, I play this game because I really enjoy the raid setting. I don't play this game for like solo play or that type of stuff. That's just me. I'm just not really into it. But I did do Heaven on High as well, with a group. I actually did Heaven on High like 5 times. Yeah, because like I did it because the people I was with made it fun. I guess if that makes sense. Like the people I did it with was really fun, so we just decided to do it like 5 fucking times. Yeah, but it's not really my thing. But I do know people like it. I know a lot of people have been asking me to do solo Palace of the Dead, but man, oh dude.
So I was doing it, and I had about like a 5 or 6 hour run, and I accidentally stood in front of something that I thought was actually a marker for a mob that I had just killed, but it was actually some other marker, and it just one shot my character and killed me. Wasted all 6 hours.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't get to talk to you about this, but I played Red, and the second I played Red, I was like, man, I fucking love this job. Like, actually a pretty cool job. And then I was like, God, I feel like Asmon's gonna hate Red. Did you end up liking Machinist just way more? Like, and it's not like an insult. It's just like based off of what stuff I know that you like. Red did not seem to me like something that you would be super into. Like, I can't imagine you enjoying casting a Jolt ever or things like that. Did you end up liking Red?
Red Mage was all right. However, I didn't like having to sit there and having a mob auto me for a fourth of my health while I'm healing for a fourth of my health every time that he autos. I feel like I'm making no ground. I'm dying. Like, Red Mage was fun to play a lot, but I just don't feel like it was as good as Machinist for Palace of the Dead, because you don't need to get healed if you don't get hit. It's that simple.
Why'd you guys play the jobs you are?
I played Dark Knight because have you ever seen Berserk, like Guts?
No, but oh man, I probably just triggered a lot of people because I haven't really seen that, man. My bad.
Actually, you shouldn't have seen it. You should have read it. It's actually disgusting if you watch the anime.
Yeah. They're gonna be popping off soon.
Oh no, dude.
So it's a story about a guy with a big sword. I like the story, so I wanted to play the guy with the big sword.
Okay.
I thought it was cool too.
What do you think of Living Dead? What do you think of Living Dead?
I also have been in the grave before too. It's happened to me multiple times now, and it's not as good as Home Game. I'll just say that it's not as good as Home Game.
Yeah.
It's very annoying.
You should play Summoner. Summoner's a job for people with big brains. I literally, my rotation is about, like, my opening rotation takes me 18 days, 6 hours, 17 minutes, and 22 seconds. And by the end of my opening rotation, I can feel all of the synapses in my brain connecting to each other. I can remember my entire life. My brain has never been more connected ever. I'm octo weaving. I got Bahamut in my back pocket. I got a Phoenix ready to erupt on my opponents. It's the best feeling I've ever had in my entire life. It's like having 4 jobs all at once, and you can still snapshot. Coming from Warlock and World of Warcraft and not being able to snapshot ever, it's such a good feeling to actually be able to think about it again. I love this game.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I like playing Dark Knight a lot. I like playing Warrior. Warrior is fun. Besides that, I thought about playing Black Mage. But other than that, I'm just kind of happy with what I've been playing so far. I feel like tanking is, as I said, you get instant queues all the time. Everybody thinks that you're the most important part of the raid. It's just great. So yeah, I would say tanking is my favorite.
You ever tried Paladin or Gunbreaker or thought about it?
Nah, because like Paladin just look dumb because you have a shield, right? Well, I don't want to shield.
You're a fucking pussy ass coward.
It's
you
dumb.
Don't
and then Gunbreaker, how are you going to use a gun in melee? Like, it's just weird.
Gunbreaker kind of seems cool. I was thinking about.
I might play it for Heaven on High because apparently you need to. That's like one of the best classes for soloing it.
I can't even say the reason why I think Gunbreaker's cool, but I have reasons that I think Gunbreaker's cool now. I just like, I don't know. I really like range, and I played Samurai for a little bit, like really just a little bit, and I liked everything about Samurai, but I hate having to stand on top of a boss. Like, I just absolutely despise it. I like to stand really far away from everybody, and if something goes wrong, I get rescued. I love range. Like, I just absolutely love range. I'm looking forward to. I'm really looking forward to actually learning Dancer because everybody says that's brain dead. So I want to see how brain dead it actually fucking is. So I'm looking forward to Dancer.
Xeno, what do you play? What's your main?
I mean, I play all the tanks. I play all the tanks, man. But I am unfortunately a warrior simp. I am a big warrior simp, man. Yeah.
Why? What's so good about warrior?
Dude, when I first started playing this game, man, I had to this was back in A Realm Reborn, and I was like, oh man, I want to play the job with the axe, dude. I want to fucking, dick people down with my big ass axe.
Oh yeah.
And then the only choice was warrior. Like, dude, the only choice was warrior or paladin. What the fuck, dude? Who the fuck's gonna choose
because Dark Knight got added later on.
Dude.
Yeah.
Who the fuck's gonna? The funny part is like Warrior in 2.0 was unplayable. So
really,
yeah, it was. Yeah, no, it was like it was so bad you couldn't even rate on it.
Wow.
It was that bad. It was pretty fucking bad. But then 2.1 made it like ridiculously good.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, but I just man, I played Warrior back in 2.1. And I mean, I was like a closet warrior main, even in 2.0. I just didn't tell anybody, but I was a warrior.
You didn't want people to hold it against you.
Yeah.
Wait, so Heaven's Ward was Dark Knight, and then Shadowbringers was Gunbreaker?
I thought Storm. Oh, Shadowbringers was Gunbreaker. I thought it was Storm whatever.
Stormblood got Samurai and Red Mage. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, it makes a lot more sense. I didn't even know that. So I was wondering, people ask before about like, you mentioned the idea of the like auto markers. What is that? Is that like an add-on?
Yeah. So like that's there was a program called Paisley Park.
Yeah.
Oh no, you're talking about auto markers for Uwu.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. And like add-ons like that. It'll kind of like play like they will do things that like a player couldn't really do in the same way. How do you feel about add-ons like that and the way they work?
So I'm like, man, okay, I'm really open-minded. I'm able to separate what I personally feel versus what is needed. So like, oh man, I can't believe I'm bringing up 14 Alexander. Okay, all right. There's this program called 14 Alexander. All right, it's kind of controversial. It's kind of like auto markers. So auto markers, what it does is the mechanic is Titan will knock you back. Yeah, you get knocked back, and when you get knocked back, there's 3 jails that go on 3, or there's like so 3 random people get jails. What the auto marker does is you like set it up, and it very, very, very quickly will mark 1, 2, 3 over the players that got jails. And those players will line up. So 1 goes close to Titan, 2 goes in the middle, 3 goes where the bomb dropped.
Right.
So some people consider that cheating. When we prog the fight, this is how we did that mechanic when we prog the fight. We got knocked back, and then in VoIP, we just called close mid far. That was it. We just fucking man moded that shit. We just winged it. We had no strategy, no nothing. Just close mid far. That's what we did. And we did it. And it was fine. But that doesn't work for everybody. So man, jail wipes are so frustrating, dude. They're so frustrating. Just fucking use auto markers, man. Like just use auto markers. They're
all right.
That's my opinion, because it's like the content is old. Like basically people will look at people that cleared with auto markers and say, oh, well, you got carried or whatever. And that's so stupid, because
yes, they will do that.
Yeah, okay, because the same people. Okay, well, what happens if you just don't get the mechanic? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Do you get carried if you don't get the mechanic?
I can
You know what I'm
guarantee you the answer to that will be yes.
Yeah, all right. Okay.
Yes,
So
yes, that will be yes.
so then every clear of Uwu has had 5 people in it that's been carried. Okay, that's
Well,
good to
no,
know.
because they
That's good to
weren't streaming.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, it's
right.
completely different.
Okay, right. Fuck me, dude. I
Yeah,
forgot this. Yeah, I forgot the streaming clause. Okay.
yeah,
Look,
yeah.
look, I when I was playing with Summit and we were raiding, and
Mhm.
it wasn't even a hard raid, I did every mechanic right except for one. And then
You did
Sphere
that one really wrong though. Like that one, like
No,
you
what are you talking
you
about? You didn't
really
watch it.
no, but I heard about it. Like you really messed that one up.
You have no idea what you're talking about. You're fucking with me right now. You're literally chat. You're literally chat.
Yeah.
Like I got pulled by Sphere. I got one rescue. One. That's it.
Okay.
Was I carried?
Did it help you clear?
But it was like that is an ability that the healer has. I made another player look better. And Summit messed up.
So in a way you carried him.
Right? I carried making a world first player live up to their potential. And Summit messed up. Summit dropped Thunder in the party.
I can't believe he would do that.
He did on purpose. I think he wanted us to have a race car finish,
Yeah.
you know? I think he wanted it to look cool. That dude loves race car finishes, you know?
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, I had no idea. And like, so do you think like add-ons like that are something that the game should have? Because I know a lot of people are very opinionated about this. Like, would you be happy if like Square Enix like took a more aggressive role in trying to prevent those add-ons from being more prevalent?
So here's the thing with SC, I think.
Yeah.
They know about all this shit. They know about
Yeah.
all these mods and shit, man. I think that if they were to endorse them, then they would have to start making mechanics around them because they endorse it. So it would be assumed that people have them, and I don't think I'd like that actually.
No, I
Um,
didn't either. Whenever WoW did it.
yeah, so I don't think
Yeah.
that I would like that. The way that they design fights is really, really good in my opinion. It's
Mhm.
super fucking good, and like I love the raid fights in this game, man. So I hope that they don't actually like endorse that shit.
Okay.
But as far as like so they have admitted some mistakes. So there's a mechanic in UCOB that I always use a trigger for. There's actually one fight in the game I use a trigger for, and that is UCOB, and that's because the way the mechanic is designed. It's there's like this RP text that comes up,
Yeah.
and based on the RP text, it will dictate the mechanic. Well, I'm not fucking memorizing like nine different phrases, right? Fuck that.
Okay.
I'm just having my raid leader ACT call out fucking dynamo dive or whatever, you know. I'm not
Yeah.
memorizing all that. And they have admitted that mechanic was really bad, like they shouldn't have designed it like that. And they're not going to design any more mechanics like that like going forward. So I like some man, dude. I just don't think if you use triggers or if you use like an auto marker, I don't think that like that doesn't like discredit your clear in my opinion. But then again, I don't really. The thing is though, is man, if you clear, that's great. If you use a trigger, that's fine. Like I just honestly, I don't give a fuck, dude, because it doesn't affect me, right? It just doesn't
Yeah.
affect me. Like I'm not out here trying to discredit people's clears and shit because like well, you didn't earn it, like what the fuck, man? Like that's such a dumb mentality to have. I think is you didn't earn that clear. Like, God, man.
I think
It's
people
just
just
like
want to feel good about having less people that have the same thing that they do. You know?
yeah. Yeah, it's
That's
just
what I
like
think it
small
is.
dick shit, and it's like the person saying it's like self-conscious or they have like an ego or something. It's just
Yep.
like, God damn, man. Just it's like all right. So let's say you guys do UCOB, right? Let's say you guys do UCOB. I guarantee
Yeah.
you're gonna get this. You're gonna get this. Well, you didn't clear it in Stormblood. I bet you're gonna get that. Like, okay, what the fuck
Yeah.
are they like? What the fuck do people expect you to
Is
do?
this a
Jump in
time
the time machine? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck, man?
I'm gonna have a gold book. They can eat my ass. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to having my gold book. Literally pages gilded in gold. I'm looking forward to that shit. I do think that a lot of the things though that with those third-party add-ons, like I know that technically Discord and calculators are third-party add-ons. I watched your video where you reacted to it was the open letter, right? Where Yoshi P was kind of going through everything. I think it was a month ago. I watched that. I actually watched it, I think, around the time that it came out. And there are a lot of things that are said in that video, and I highly recommend that you guys check that out and check out his entire YouTube channel. But there were a lot of things that were said in that I think are really good for the game. Like the second that if they put ACT into the game, people would use it as a metric in the way that like Raider.io is used in World of Warcraft to try to prevent people from getting into parties. I personally, I haven't used it yet. What I actually do to try to create metrics of success, I actually do use a calculator. I go through the combat log, I add up all the damage, and I divide by the amount of time that I was doing it, and I figure it out. You know, I just try to constantly improve. Because look, I'm not a cheater. I never have been, never will be.
Smart.
I just use what's actually there in front of me. Now, ACT, I think it's like essentially just a macro that does the addition for you. But look, I went to school. I can still fuck with some numbers. But at the end of the day, I do think that there is use in being able to personally assess your performance and try to get better. And I think that that's a great thing in a game. But there is a level of gatekeeping if it's accepted as a mechanic in the game, right? The second that you have it in there, people are going to be like, dude, the last samurai I was with did way more damage. What the fuck are you doing wrong? I should just get that guy. And I feel like when there's a little bit of taboo around it, people will still use it. People will still try to get better. And you have less of that toxic mentality. And I actually think it's kind of five-head.
Yeah, I don't like Yoshi not wanting ACT in the game. Like, I totally get it. I totally understand. And it doesn't need to be in the game, honestly. It doesn't. I mean, if it was, like if ACT was in the game, I honestly don't think it would be that much different. It would be more toxic. Well, the reason why I think so is because everybody fucking uses ACT anyway. Like anyone raiding, like they already use ACT. So the whole point of like using ACT, it like people already use it. Like people, like I mean streamers, they just won't stream with it on, but they're fucking using it though. So I think he's right. I think that
I play on PlayStation 4, so I'm not even sure how I would set that up.
You can't.
Okay. Yeah,
it feels bad, dude.
PlayStation 4. Get a PS5, dude. What are you thinking, man?
Oh God.
Yeah, what are you thinking, Rich? Come on. Yeah, I don't know.
Easy to get.
They're not that easy. You just have to have Cynic deliver it to you. Okay,
it's literally carry.
Yeah. Just have Cynic deliver it to you. It's not a big deal. That's what I did. And so yeah, I guess you can't use it on those different places. I think that's kind of a. It's interesting that they have such like a nuanced perspective on the add-ons too, especially in terms of like ones that will kind of I've seen videos where like sometimes it'll like say the ability that's going to be cast or something like that. I'm not really sure if I understood that properly whenever I watched the video, but it does seem like there are a number of add-ons like that do make the game a lot easier. And I know like for Warcraft, like they've made the game more complex because they know people have add-ons, and it creates like this artificial difference between the people who are trying to like play the game more authentically, right, or vanilla, and the people that are playing with add-ons, where like now you just kind of have to have these add-ons in order to keep up with the amount of mechanics that are being added in, because it's this like weird arms race between the players and the developers. So I do think it's good.
Though, right? I think credit where credit's due. World of Warcraft added a lot of those add-ons, and they hadn't seen how it would affect the game. And, you know, they were kind of pioneering in some ways. Once you've given the community a lot of those add-ons, it's much harder to take them away than to give them out in the first place. And I think Final Fantasy, you know, you watch the documentaries on how they made the game. They played World of Warcraft. They learned from World of Warcraft, and they took those lessons and put them in the game. And, you know, it probably doesn't go the other way for the World of Warcraft devs, because if they played Final Fantasy, they probably get banned for harassment. So at the end of the day, they don't really get the opportunity to even try to learn from the game.
Very true.
See, I don't know if they like embraced all those like add-ons and stuff. I feel like that they would have to start designing fights around those add-ons. So I don't know if I would like that or not. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. like honestly, man, I don't use like anything other than ACT, like UI add-ons, anything like that. Like I really don't use it. Not like I just don't need it, I guess. Like I mean, I love the default UI. I love the setup. I mean, I can see why people would want to change it because I mean, UI is like very personal. But as far as like some of those mods and add-ons are crazy, like those third-party shit. Like you used to not be able to, or you used to be able to move markers. Paisley Park, which I was going to mention earlier, it basically moves the markers for you like mid combat. I think now you have to have everybody in the group to have it, but it used to be so like you know how you can have presets for markers. Well, it didn't used to be like that. It used to be you just go in and can set the markers up wherever you want, and then you can move them. You can move them around like mid combat, but they found out people were using this program called Paisley Park, which moves the markers for you. Which you realistically wouldn't be able to do if you're hitting your buttons. But the program does it for you. So then they took it away. So then they said, okay, well, you guys, instead of being able to move the markers in combat, you guys can now just have presets. So they're very like their mentality is they don't want you like if there's something in the game that you're using and they think is okay, like they'll put it in the game. Like their mentality is they want to give you everything you need to be able to play the game. But some people obviously don't agree with that mentality. I do for the most part. But some of these mods and stuff is or like, you know, third party stuff is pretty suspect. But I mean, like I said earlier, man, I don't give a shit what people use, man.
A clear's a clear.
Like, dude, you want to put dicks on your cat girl? That's fine. I don't give a shit, man. You want to fucking cheat and use 14 Alexander and have negative 10 ping? Dude, that's fine. I don't care. It doesn't affect me, man. I don't really give a shit. I'm not here to judge anybody. You know what I'm saying? I don't, you know, you do you. Just as long as it doesn't affect me, right? Like, I don't really fucking care, man. I mean, you know, like the auto markers in Ultima, I think they're great. They're great for two reasons. Fair. One, because they don't affect me, and two, it makes people do the mechanic better. So fucking pog, man.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what makes sense. The add-ons has always been like a very contentious thing in WoW, and especially like now, it's like that's what I was saying before. Like you mentioned this with like Max and like people like trying to play UIs and everything. Like the UIs that people use in WoW are like just so important to them, and they matter so much. So coming from that into Final Fantasy is definitely a little bit of a culture shock whenever it's not expected to have like such a huge amount of add-ons and things like that added in, for sure.
Max's UI, it literally looks like he just like copy pasta.
Oh god,
it's like fucking crazy. I'm still using Fedo UI, but yeah, this guy, he actually looks like he is like completely managed to get his WoW UI in the game. I don't even understand.
I get asked by Max's UI so much, man, and I'm just like every time I get asked, I'm just like, because people are like, yo, what do you think about his UI? You know, they ask me in a way that it's like, yo, you think it's shit too, right? I'm just like, dude, I honestly don't give a fuck because I'm not using it, man. Like, if it works for him, it works for him. It's fine, man. Like, why do you care so much? Like,
I feel like every time I do look at Max's UI, though, like I think about like people who like bedazzle their phone case and then like put a pop socket on it. It's just like your phone's not gonna work any different, man. Like, why'd you spend all this time making your UI like a character trait? I don't know. It's just like, what's he trying to prove? I think he's a great player, but his UI, it's a weird flex to me.
I think he's just trying to simulate WoW as much as possible because I do the same shit when I play like other games, like when I play when I play other MMOs, I try to actually replicate my Final Fantasy UI just because it's something I'm used to. The only thing that I thought was bad that Max did was he had his enemy list covered by his party chat. And for some reason, I guess he turned like aggro off or something. I'm not sure, but I guess he has it on now. And the enemy list is very important because the enemy list has cast bars. And you can... So as you guys probably know, the animation in this game is like there's a delay, right? So like you can actually run into the animation of an AoE and be fine, because the server ticks and shit, server delay. Well, if you can see cast bars on an enemy list, you can go by that. So like let's say they're on E4, for example, with like Titan bombs and stuff. And if you have to do a quick like 2-to-1 Titan bomb, you basically have to run into the first one and you're in the second explosion. Well, you can actually run in when the cast bar finishes. You don't have to wait to see the animation, because if you wait to see the animation, you're going to get hit by the second one. So if you run in to the first one after the cast bar finishes, you're fine. So cast bars are really, really important in this game. But besides that, I think his UI is like fine. People were saying he's like, dude, people were just saying the weirdest shit about his UI, man. It's crazy. I get asked like every
people
single.
Just want to have like that thing they have over you, Like that's always what it is.
Yeah, it's fun to have an opinion, and like, you're right, Asmon. It's like one of those things. It's like if I shit on somebody, I can continue to build the delusions that I've created about myself. If his UI is bad and it's different than mine, then mine must be good. And then it does look like it looks like Elv UI, or like what was that other one that I used to use in WoW? Like he did make it look really similar, even just color wise. Like it does, and I do think that familiarity is like a good thing. Like my UI in game, I basically I set it up really quick, and then I took all the additional hotbars that I had and I just filled them up with emotes, and I put them behind where my camera is when I'm streaming. So I look like I'm emoting like a fucking god. Like I thought that shit was super 5-head. So I got a row that's just like facial expressions, so I can like wink and shit. And I got all my dances on the one. I can do my Manfred Mann shit. I'm balling out. Like I feel like the UI in this game is so much easier to customize than it is in WoW, which is something that I do like. But I do understand wanting to make it look more like WoW so you feel more at home.
That's what I do.
Yeah. I want to ask, just in general, is there like a big debate and like a big difference in preference between like legacy mode and like all these things that you can toggle off? Because it was very jarring at first for me when I was like always ice skating and stuff like that.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, Legacy is the best. Legacy is the best. Here's what everybody should do. Guaranteed 100%.
Okay.
You go on Legacy, re-keybind your turn left and turn right to strafe left and strafe right, and you're gonna be playing a whole different game. Because you can move back super fast, and there's mechanics in this game that force you to look a certain way. And if you turn your camera in the direction you need to look, you can tap like left and right, or S and D or whatever, or A and D, and your character will always face the correct way, and you can still attack.
Whoa.
That's actually a good idea. Holy shit.
It's a game changer. Yeah, it's a game changer.
Yeah.
Wow.
The amount of times that there was like a look away mechanic, and I was like, oh, if I use one of my Edgy's abilities, I'm fine. And then my character's just like, just get hit by the eyeball ability. Like, I need to try that.
Yeah, because like when you strafe, your character will face the direction your camera is. Because like if you have like turn, how it used to be. So I've used these controls for a really long time, and how it used to be was you couldn't auto attack unless you were facing your target. So if you were to turn left, your character would literally stop auto attacking. Now that's not the case anymore. They fixed it, but that's why I have like my strafe left and right. But if ever there's like a look away mechanic or something, you just turn your camera away from the boss, and when you're hitting your GCDs, you just either tap, like strafe left or strafe right, like once, or you can hold it, and you can attack while you're looking away from the boss. There's only like a very, very split second where the input goes in that your character actually turns to face the boss, but after that like split second, your character automatically turns away. That's another thing too. You have to have auto face target on for this to work, but it's super fucking good. It's super good.
See, I never used Legacy. I tried it at the beginning. I didn't like it. And then I tried doing Palace of the Dead with Machinists, and it was like, I just had to have Legacy movement. It was just so much better. Like that's all there is to it. It was just way fucking better.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Legacy movement. I can't even I haven't used standard movement in a long time, so maybe they changed it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But legacy movement's so good. I'm not finding out.
I'm still using standard, and every now and then I'm just like, what the heck just happened to me? Like,
Oh.
yeah, I'm just like, you just random, like sometimes like I'm just like I'm moving around, you know, like I'm in Dreadborn trance, I'm vibing, mechanics coming out, I'm like, oh, easy, free, and I'm just like, and I die. But yeah, I'm gonna change it soon. That's just you, Rich. Okay, yeah, maybe it's not a setting.
I would say definitely try it. I would say definitely try it at least. I mean, if you don't like it, that's fine. But I mean, because some people don't like it.
Maybe it's my controller. Maybe I just need to plug it in better.
Sounds bad, but I actually like backpedaling sometimes for like slight readjustments. I
know it's good. I do too.
Dude, backpedaling is good. People who just have blanket statements about a type of movement in a game, a literal option in a game, are just trying to look smart. There has always and there always will be times where backpedaling is good. Like, oh my god, unbind that key, make it jump, idiot. Dude, there are so many times where a backpedal is the exact thing that you need to do. Just watch this on stream.
Dude, your chat is so fucking stupid, man. They don't think you can backpedal with legacy. Holy shit, man.
A lot of them,
people should just not type, man. What the fuck?
A lot of them probably are used to WoW. And like in WoW, backpedaling doesn't really have a whole lot of purposes except for like tanking and like very niche circumstances. So other than that, there's no reason to backpedal. And that's where I think a lot of the negativity behind backpedaling came from, is people feeling that way as like a residual from WoW.
Yeah.
Like there's only like a handful of things, like tanking Globulus is kind of useful to backpedal because you can move away from like the pools of like poison. But like other than that, there's like really no reason to.
That's not true. There are some reasons too. I can't think of any of them right now, but most of them involve hunters.
Man, you know what? One thing about WoW's combat completely ruined the game for me.
What's that?
It's like really small, but okay. So, all right. So in Final Fantasy, you can be like max melee, right? Like you can be like 5 yalms away from the boss or whatever, 5 meters, whatever.
Yeah.
But in WoW, you have to like stand on the hitbox, and that fucking drove me insane, man.
Yeah.
It drove me fucking crazy, dude. I could not. I was like, oh my god. I was like, dude, I had like my weapon in one hand and the boss's dick in my other hand. That's how close I had to be, or else I couldn't attack. It was so bad.
There are some bosses like that in WoW. I remember Tyrant Valhari was one of them in like Hellfire Citadel. Oh my fucking god. Like you couldn't even get anywhere near, like you were constantly stacked on top of other people. It was the most frustrating thing to deal with, man. Like, so I totally 100% understand what you mean. Yeah, it was absolutely fucking awful. So yeah, I'm glad that that's not really as much of a thing in Final Fantasy. Like they fixed a little bit of that in WoW, but not a lot of it, unfortunately. So yeah, it's just one of those things, I guess.
The thing that really like upsets me when I think back to WoW, is the fact that I feel like so many of the jobs or specs rather got homogenized, right? And it really did get to the point in WoW where every single I was a big multi-classer. Like I really did enjoy multi-classing, even though World of Warcraft told me I was an idiot every single time I tried to do it.
Yeah.
But I loved multi-classing. I loved trying to feel out all the different things. But it got to the point where it's just like, okay, I got my proc here. 6 is always going to be my AoE. And it really felt like you were playing the same exact thing with different particle effects. And now coming to Final Fantasy, it does feel completely different. Like I really do feel like every time I pick up a job, I'm like, oh my god, this is really cool. It makes a lot of sense, and there's like fluid gameplay around it. But I am scared when I start to hear you say things like it's getting more and more simple over time. Has it felt like it's gotten more and more accessible, or do you feel like there is a level of singularity that's happening between the jobs?
Well, so I think it is getting like, over time, it has, in my opinion, got easier. That's not necessarily bad though. So in Heaven's Ward, the game was completely different. Like it was the jobs were pretty hard. Like so, for instance, right in Heaven's Ward, like Dragoons could drop that dragon. I can't remember the name of it. The dragon buff, right? And Dark Knights could drop Dark Side. And like bards and machinists, blood of the dragon, sorry. And bards and machinists were like casters, and it was just completely different. And the jobs were very punishing if you fuck them up. So in my opinion, for the general like player, like the jobs were more fun back then, I thought, but also they were harder and they weren't like as user friendly. I still think they're really fun now. Like I do. I think the jobs are really fun now. They are easier, but that's better for the game, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like it's better for the like the general player base that plays the game, because man, dude, people don't want to play Dark Knight in Heaven's Ward. Or people don't want to play Paladin in Heaven's Ward, man. It's just like people couldn't play Dark Knight in Heaven's Ward. They would constantly drop like Dark Side. They didn't know how to manage their mana. It was just way too hard, man, for like the general player base. And so like now, like another thing with making the jobs like a little easier is the balance in this game is crazy good, at least in my opinion.
That's what I've noticed too, is like there's not like one class that's just, okay, if you want to clear the boss really fast, bring 20 of these guys and, you know, it's just going to die in 1 minute.
Yeah,
it's kind of a surprise.
Yeah, that's not, like this game, some people say the jobs are imbalanced, but those people are fucking stupid. Like if you want to see imbalance, go play another game. Go play well, I mean, no one fucking plays Ion, but you know what I'm saying? Go play another game. Like, you know, I mean, now I'm not the most familiar on WoW, but I heard WoW is like extremely unbalanced.
It can be.
Yeah, so
it used to be way worse. It's actually gotten a lot better.
Look, yes. I'm gonna be honest though. WoW never got as one-sided as Blue Mage has in this game. Like we have to be completely fair. Like Blue Mage is that shit's broken, man. I'm gonna be honest. I've been doing nothing but playing Blue.
I've been hearing about that. Yeah. Did you play any other MMOs, Xeno, before you moved over to Final Fantasy?
Yeah, I played a lot. I played Rift. Man, I loved Rift.
Okay.
I played Rift. I played Terra. I played Ion. I played Blade and Soul. I played Guild Wars 2.
Holy shit!
Yeah, I played a lot of different MMOs.
Did you play City of Heroes by any chance?
No, I played fuck man, the same people released. Maybe
actually, they put out Ion. They put out Ion actually. It's that was NCSoft and Cryptic at the time, I believe. They did work on Ion, and they also worked on Lineage, I believe. Man, 5 years of me asking the City of Heroes question, never as a guest ever said yes. It's been 5 years, man.
I know.
Oh god.
No, I played DC Universe Online for like a day. And the reason why I say a day is because when I played it, I went through the tutorial and I was blown away. I was like, you mean to tell me I can run on walls? I can fucking fly. I can do all this crazy shit. And then I got in the game and I was like, oh, well, this really lost its fucking... This really lost its punch. This game actually sucks ass, dude. What the fuck? I didn't play it anymore.
Did you try the Ion private servers at all or no?
Yeah, I recently
not private servers, the what's it called? The
classic release. Yeah. So I did a marathon where I streamed every day for like 13 days in a row, except for one day. I took like one day off, and I played for like 15 hours a day just to hit level 50.
Jesus.
And yeah, dude, that was intense leveling, man. It was so fucking hard to hit level 50, man. It was.
So you played every other MMO basically besides WoW.
Yeah, pretty much. WoW? Oh man, dude. All right, man. The graphics, man, I can't get over it. I cannot look at that game, dude. The game looks like shit covered in vomit. It literally hurts my eyes to look at it, man. I'm sorry. It is what it is, dude. And I grew up on like, fucking Super Nintendo and Nintendo, right? Yeah. Like I was playing, Final Fantasy, 3 or, what was really 6, but it was 3 released here. It's just, man, like, dude. I just remember my very first experience with WoW. I logged on, I played a Tauren, and I looked up at the sky, and the sky was so bad. It looked like a baby's room. Like it looked like these like clouds, this shitty blue sky with these clouds. It looked like a baby's room, like a nurse. I was just like, oh god, dude. I just can't do it. I can't do it, man. I tried. I really did.
I mean, that's such a personal thing. Like to me, no game will ever look as good as WoW, which sucks. Like it actually fucked with me really hard. Nobody's trying to make a game look like WoW. Like nobody wants to do that anymore. But there's such like a timelessness to the way that WoW, like it's. I always think that stuff that's more cartoonish is always going to have like a timelessness to it, right? Like when you look at even like Borderlands. You know, I can go back and play Borderlands 1 and Borderlands 2, and obviously that's cell shading, so it's kind of peg shit. But at the end of the day, it doesn't feel that dated. And I think I'm a little bit brainwashed by WoW. Sure, like I agree with you guys. But there is still something about that game that I miss. I miss having something like that stylized, and I think that the game does look really good. But for me, I know like with a game like PoE, I thought that PoE was one of the worst looking games that I ever played. And then the more that I started to play it, the more that I liked how it looked, and I like the way that it looked hijacked my brain and started giving me serotonin. So like now I think that game looks really good. Final Fantasy, I feel like it gets better looking with each new expansion. Is that like a trend that we should expect as new players? Like, is it going to look even better next expansion?
Well, it fucking better be, because they got a lot of money now. Fucking better be.
It's a good point.
No, it's like or sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying it's a good point.
Yeah, like I mean, I totally get if people don't like Final. Like one thing that one thing I always thought was weird was weird, man, was that people say Final Fantasy looks like a Wii game. And like I'm not I'm not disputing that. I just think it's kind of weird, because when I think of Wii game, I think of like Genshin Impact. Like I don't think of Final Fantasy.
I think that like whenever because I used to think that too, and I think I felt that way because just purely of the existence of cat girls.
Dude, it's so funny. I watched a video of you, Asmon. Somebody posted a video of you from like 2019 on my Reddit last night, and I was watching it. And you're looking at a chocobo in a barding, and you go, yo, how are you going to say that this isn't a weeb game? There's literally a rooster in robot armor with a wizard hat on right now. This is the most weeb shit I've ever seen.
I mean, I'm not wrong, am I? Like, it's a little bit true there.
You want to know the other thing that was fucking funny, too?
I think I have that armor now, by the way.
Really? Each totally came up on your like while you were watching, and you said, ew.
Say what?
You went, ooh, cat girl.
Well, because like the thing is that like because I didn't get a chance to talk to her, right? That's why. It makes it completely different if you get a chance to talk to her.
What a gentleman.
It's a completely different thing.
See, there's always a time to backpedal, folks.
Yeah. See, exactly. It's not even grobulous. Okay. Yeah. Sure. And I also one thing I want to ask is with my hair, how long do you think I've got?
Oh, dude. All right.
I saw the picture. I saw the comparison.
You saw the picture, dude?
Yeah. It looked very similar.
All right, man. I'm about to hit you with a bomb, dude. All right. Okay. So we are actually the same person.
Yeah.
I'm just you from an alternate timeline in the future.
Okay.
And I came back in time.
Yeah.
To tell myself, to tell you, to tell us. That I would say you got probably 3 years at best.
Oh,
you got 3 years?
Oh God. Okay.
At best.
Wow. Okay. And then at that point, it's like it just doesn't really matter what you do, right? It's just done.
You're gonna look so good bald. Like it's not even a big deal, man. You're gonna look really good bald.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's not what I wanted to hear, but I think it might be what I needed to hear. Yeah, it's okay. I understand. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's
I said, to be honest, Rich is receding more than Asmon.
No, he was. Like, I don't know what's happened, but like Rich's hair has grown back. Like it makes me so mad.
Dude, I actually, this isn't even a meme.
Okay.
2 hours ago, I went to the dermatologist and I was like, I'm not doing anything for my hair. I'm not doing anything and I feel like it's growing back. What's going on? He looked at it and he said, were you under an immense amount of stress? And I was like, well, I was playing a lot of World of Warcraft. And he was like, I have no idea what that means. But it seems like during that point in your life, you were under an immense amount of stress. And that was what was causing you to bald. And that like I actually am regrowing hair now that I've been playing Final Fantasy. It's fucking ridiculous, but it's actually true. It's actually true. I'm saved for at least a little bit. He said like you probably will. He's like looking at your hair, like I think you'll go bald one day, but it's years and years away. And he was like, just don't do what you were doing because you were way too stressed.
I'm so jealous, man.
It's I feel like it's only a matter of time. Like I've thought about getting a hair transplant, but the whole idea of it just sounds so weird, you know? Sounds so fucking weird.
I actually genuinely think anybody like this goes for both of you. Yeah. Anybody who can grow nice beards doesn't really need to worry about going bald. Like it's a look and a half. The only thing that sucks about going bald is the lack of choice, right? But just glue hair on your head. Just buy somebody else's hair and just glue it on your head for a couple days. It's fine.
Okay. Yeah, that to me, like, I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do. I've thought about shaving my head, but I feel like I would look like an idiot. But I do agree with Xeno, right? It's like it doesn't. Every year it gets harder, right? It's like, remember back whenever like you still had hair, right? Is you would have like a good hair day like once a week, and then it was like 3 times a month, and then twice a month, and then you know it's like it was like once a month, and then after that it's like you forgot the last time it happened, and like that's kind of where I'm at.
Do you remember when you thought you were just having bad hair days, but it was actually receding? That was like a weird realization where I was like, wait, I'm having bad hair days because there's no hair in it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all right. That's definitely very good to know. I'll say that. I've thought about this.
Fired Becky's.
I used to have hair down to my shoulders, man. I used to have a full head of hair. Yeah, that was back when I was in a band. Yeah.
Those are the good days, huh? Yeah, I know. Yeah. I saw a picture of Tim the Tat Man, and he had a full head of hair, and he was playing World of Warcraft Cataclysm. And then I thought about the picture that I had of myself, where I had a full head of hair, and I was playing World of Warcraft Cataclysm, and I just I had to lay down. I had to lay down. It was a whole lot. But one final question, right? Obviously, the show's been going on for a while. One final question is, for anybody who's trying to get into raiding, anybody who's trying to start like maybe Savage or Ultimates or just maybe doing extremes with their guild or anything like their FC, what advice do you have for them?
A lot of times, man, I get people ask questions like, how do I get into raiding? How do I, how do I do this? I think that like people put raiding and shit on a pedestal without realizing it. Yeah. I think it's just really that easy. You just go in and do it. Like it's okay. It sounds like just do it forehead, but it's really not. It's that's literally kind of what it is. I feel like, you just start off slow, right? Like if you're nervous, that's fine. Just start off with like a normal mode, and then, do that and be like, okay, if you like that, okay, then go do an extreme primal. If you like that, then you can go do like Savage. I would just go in with the mentality that, you're going to learn, and you're probably going to run into like assholes occasionally. And just fucking ignore them, man. Cause it's really easy for people to forget when they were learning after they've learned something. Cause after you learn something, it's unless you like go out of your way to remember, oh man, this was really hard to learn. You're not going to. You're just going to be like, that's easy. Just just fucking go in there.
Just do it.
Yeah. But I feel like that you should go in with the mentality that you're gonna have to learn, so you're gonna die. So I think like people put raiding on this like pedestal maybe, when it's really not that complicated, man. You just go into Party Finder. I mean, if you go in and you die to every mechanic and you get kicked, hey man, it happens. It happens, dude. Don't feel bad about it. Just make sure that whatever you did wrong, however you fucked up, just remember, don't do that again. But I just think people, when they go in, man, they just have too high expectations. Like, okay, if I don't do everything perfect, they're going to kick me. Okay. Who fucking cares? Who cares that a Party Finder group gets, I mean, just make sure you don't go in and grief, right? So like if you're new to a fight, just join a prog party or put up a prog party. Like don't debate people. As long as people know what they're getting into, I feel like the patience level is way higher. So if you're new, like just put that, right? Just be like new player, prog, whatever. And I mean, I don't know, like it's one of those things, man, where as long as that's there and you set the expectation, I feel like people will be more patient. But it's when you have no idea what you're doing and then you join a clear party. That's when,
dude, WoW has people like that, and they'll make groups and they'll say full clear, experience only, item level 220 plus, and they'll say that in like the message, because in WoW you can't require an item level higher than what you have. So the required item level will, if it's like 220 plus that he's looking for, the required item level will be like 211 or 203. And that guaranteed is the raid leader's item level. And that's the only thing that they can put it up to. And then they will only invite people that are way higher geared to all carry them. It's crazy.
You put the group together.
That's like in Final Fantasy. There's like something similar to that. You'll have people that put up duty complete parties that don't even have clears. So like you can't even join unless you cleared, but the party leader hasn't cleared.
That's smart. Yeah, that's actually a really good idea. Wow, I would probably do that if I was still a kid.
So
I would 100% do that.
How do you feel about boosting like a third or fourth job?
I mean, I think it's fine to boost your first one, but I mean, I am a pro booster. I'm a pro booster, and I'm a pro.
Not gonna like that.
Oh, they're not gonna, dude. It's fucking heated right now. Whew.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people
really.
Do you think if somebody did boost and then like struggled to do like an action maneuver or something like that, they're just a bad player?
I think that if this is your first MMO, I don't think you should boost. If it's your very first MMO, because you're playing a completely different genre, but like if it's not your first MMO, based on what I've experienced, this MMO is really no different than any other MMO, except for that you're forced to do the story. You still do all the same bullshit. You still fucking do fetch quests. You still do dungeons. You still do all the same shit. The lower level dungeons aren't going to teach you anything that like a level 70 dungeon isn't.
Right.
So I think that if you've played another MMO, you're fine to boost. All you need to do is just take like a second to actually read your skills. That's another problem too, is some people don't know how to read tooltips.
I do think the weird thing that I like about Final Fantasy that is somewhat interesting is, and I don't necessarily think that this means that people shouldn't boost it, especially like a third or fourth job, but I do think it's kind of cool how if you want to do all the content on a certain job, you basically need to know like 2 or 3 versions of your rotation, which I think is pretty neat. Like for Summoner, like I'm going to be progressing without Firebird Trance to get my Ukab weapon, for example. And then once I clear T, I have a whole different element. I mean, I'm going to be cycling through Bakhmut's faster, right? Because you get every single Dreadborn Trance. I do find that really interesting, and I see why people think that leveling does help you learn that, but to be completely honest, I don't think leveling helps you learn those different rotations like at all. I like leveling. I don't think
it's easy, dude. That's
it's really, the rotation stuff's not that difficult. Like I do feel like maybe going through Palace of the Dead one time might be cool for like a new job to just like fuck around, slowly get access to more abilities, so you're not like overwhelmed with the bloat of reading each ability. But I feel like most MMO players are gonna read through each ability and try to see how they interact with each other all at once anyway. I just think, the story's good enough that you don't want to skip it. But then like some of the job quests are so bad that I don't really want to do them anyway. I forget which one I was doing the other day, and I was just like, this is the worst quest I've done ever in the game. So
I actually did a video on boosting. I had one person, this fucking dumbass motherfucker, he commented and was like, job quests teach you how to play your job. Like, dude, some job quests are literally just talking to people. How the fuck does that like, what are you talking about? Why are you typing right now? It doesn't, like, just shut up, dude. Like, why are you typing? But like, yeah, I mean, I think boosting's fine. It's just if you do boost, it's fine. Just just read your fucking tooltips. But people like to act like, oh, leveling teaches you so much. And I know a shit ton of people, or I've played with a shit ton of people that have leveled from 1 to 80 that know less than people that have boosted. So like, just because you level 1 to 80, that doesn't automatically guarantee you're going to know your fucking job. Like, I hate that. I hate that like assumption. You learn all that.
There are people that have played WoW that I know that have played it for over 10 years and they still don't know how to play their main class. So yeah, I totally understand it. Totally get it.
The MSQ is one of the most enjoyable things I've done in gaming. Like, no joke. I have thoroughly enjoyed the main story quest. It did not teach me how to play Summoner, right? Very rarely have I actually played Summoner during the MSQ, right? You're mostly just reading, which is fine. Like, I like that. I actually really like the pacing of the game. And I like the fact that, you read for like 4 hours, then you play your job, right? Like that is a fun thing, but it's like, I do feel like it's really different. I feel like the only job quest that does teach you how to play your job really well is probably Blue. Like when you stand there and you get hit, and it teaches you that very well. So I am a big fan of the Blue job quest, and I hope that in the future they continue to make job quests with that in mind and try to use that as a springboard. Like, I'm really looking forward to Sage being more aligned with Blue.
Sage should be Sage should be a shield healer. At least that's the last thing they said. White Mage and Astro.
Yeah, Sage is weird.
Yeah, why they're splitting the healers now into 2 categories: pure healers and shield healers, or barrier healers. And Scholar and Sage are going to be barrier. White Mage and Astro are going to be pure.
So, and Reaper is just
that's melee DPS.
Do we how often do you, or what's the timing usually of actually starting to find out more about the new jobs when the expansion's actually coming out?
So based on the last 2 times they did it, they always do a media tour. They haven't released what the media tour or when it is. I don't think so, but I think it's going to be next month, at towards the end of next month, because they normally do it like a month and a half before the expansion. At least I'm pretty sure they did it on Shadowbringers. I'm pretty sure they did it on Stormblood too. They did like a month and a half. And that'll be the job action trailer. That'll be like some super fucking hype shit, man.
Yeah,
they did release it. It's okay. Yeah, so yeah, my initial prediction was right. I thought it was going to be like somewhere either middle or the end of September, because that's where they released it the last time. But it should be really, really fucking good. Like that's going to be the good shit.
So how often do they retroactively add appearances in it? Like for Reaper, for example, like that weapon looks super cool. Like, is T going to get a scythe, or is that not guaranteed?
I wouldn't plan on it.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't plan on it because I don't think that they have made weapons for previous ultimates with new jobs.
Huh.
Okay. Yeah, so like for example, like Gunbreaker doesn't have like a UCOB weapon. Shit like that.
Okay.
But
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure about that.
Yeah, maybe though, but I wouldn't plan on it, but maybe.
Yeah, I really Asmon's probably gonna make fun of me for this, but I just think a Lalafell with a scythe is gonna look dope. So
God.
Yeah, I don't want to start a fight right now, but I do think that Reaper Lalafell is gonna be probably one of that's gonna be a really cool looking glamour. So I was kind of hoping I could get a T weapon. I was thinking about even farming up T in extra time. So right when the expansion dropped, I could just go and use one of my tomes. But maybe I'll just do T one less time. I mean, it's chores anyway.
Yeah, if you guys want to do an ultimate, man, and you need a person to hit me up, I'm down, dude.
Oh, shit.
I'm in PF Everett, dude. I'm down.
Oh boy! All right, well, I will do that for sure. I'm kind of nervous about getting into them, but we'll see. I'll probably be doing it maybe like at the end of the month, or end of actually probably next month, realistically. So we'll have to see. But I do want to say, yeah.
Ultimates, dude, it's a ton of fun. It's a lot of fun, and it's extremely rewarding.
Yeah.
And I promise you, it's not like A4, dude. A4 is so bad.
All right, I'm very glad to hear that.
If you go back and do do the other Savages, Midas is one of the best raid tiers. It is so good.
Yeah, I think I'll probably do the rest of it at some point. I just want to complete all of them for just completion's sake. Yeah, I would like that. But I do want to say, go ahead.
Or I was just gonna say real quick, if you did, because I think like watching you guys do an ultimate would be fucking lit. But if you guys did want to do it, I would. I just feel like it might take a little more time than you guys think. So
Funny,
I mean, it might not.
same
It
thing.
might not. But
Nope.
like I like on the safe side, I would plan for around like 2 or 3 weeks, honestly,
Of
depending
every
on how much
day?
you play. Well, see, now that's what I was gonna say. It would, man. I really don't want to give a timeline because it just really depends on how many people are in there that already cleared, how long you guys are gonna go per day, how many days per week. But I mean, I would just, if you guys are like planning to do it before the expansion, I would plan for it to take a little longer just in case. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about that, but I guess I'll have to find out. I mean, I'm going to probably start doing it as soon as I can because I'm excited to progress on some of those like really, really hard raid content encounters.
I'm not that nervous. I don't have $50,000 on the line.
Okay, all right. It doesn't bother me at all, dude. I know I'll get it. It's going to be just fine. But I do want to say, as you know, thanks a lot for coming on today. I really appreciate it. And I know people have asked a lot for you to be on the show and everything. And so I do appreciate you taking the time and coming on here.
Hey, man, thanks a lot for inviting me.
For
I was
sure.
nervous, man.
Yeah. I mean, it can be a little bit weird at the beginning, but I feel like everything kind of solidified pretty quick, though. And I do want to say, mods, if we can link Xenos socials and everything, you guys will have a chance to follow him. What time do you usually stream?
I usually stream around like 7 or 8, like Eastern-ish.
All
Yeah.
right. Sounds good. Evening streams makes sense. Yeah, I used to do about the same thing. So yeah, go ahead and give him a follow and go ahead and watch him whenever you guys can. But yeah, thanks a lot for coming on, man. And I do also want to say, guys, we are going to be doing the after show. That's going to be the show that Rich and I do afterwards, where we take calls and questions from you guys, and we answer your questions and get into all of that other stuff. So thank you again very much for coming on, and pretty much about all I've got. Rich, do you have anything else?
It was awesome meeting you. It was really awesome meeting you. Yeah, everybody wanted this episode to happen for a while. I'm glad that we got it together, and thank you for being so quick to respond too. We're definitely not like the best at planning stuff ahead of time, and you just instantly were ready to go. I really do appreciate it, and I'll definitely be hitting you up when I get my group together to get down UCUP.
Yeah, man. Thanks again for thanks a lot for inviting me. A lot of people were asking if I would come on to the show, and yeah, I was really excited, man. Like I said, I was nervous earlier.
Yeah, was it all right?
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool, man.
Okay,
It was really
good.
nice to meet you guys finally and talk to you guys, man. Because normally, like, you know, we've like flirted between reactions, but it was nice to
to seal the deal.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I feel the same way, man. I definitely do. So yeah, thanks a lot, guys, and thank you as well for coming on. Thank you very much. And gentlemen, we're going to be wrapping up the show, and we are going to call it a day. So just stick around here, and right after this, we're going to go ahead and move on over to Rich's stream, and we are going to do the after show. So again, guys, thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, boys, peace.